Very good morning to ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us on this webinar on NRI products and features of ICICI Direct. My name is Aman Verma, and I am the product manager for NRIs at ICICI Direct. And big thanks to all of you for joining in on a Friday morning on this call. I understand it's a Friday morning, so many of you will be having work commitments. So let's keep this very short and quick. We will divide this into two parts. One wherein I will be taking you through a presentation on the products that is there on our platform, and then we will go through a small demo of our website platform on how to operate your account, and then we will open the floor for question and answers. Meanwhile, if at all you have any queries, please post it in the comments. What I will do is, once I am done with the flow of my presentation, I will answer your queries one by one. If at all I'm able to answer those queries in the middle of the presentation, I will take that up as well. So without further wasting any more time, let's dive into this small presentation that I have for you on the products that are available for NRI customers to use on our platform. So starting with just giving you a little background that we ICICI Securities has been in the NRI investment business for almost 2 decades, and we have a very seamless platform to invest in all sorts of products, and from anywhere in the world for NRIs. We have segregated NRE and NRO accounts, depending on the type of funds that you want to use for your investments, as well as a further segregation of accounts into pins and non-pins, which I will also explain going ahead. This further segregation is basically for your secondary and primary market transactions. A lot of innovative features like a valid till cancel order, an SIP in equity that is available for NRIs to use. Also, there is TDS that is applicable for NRI customers on the capital gains, and there is zero paperwork when it comes to the the TDS calculations and all those things. So and there is a real-time settlement of funds, and it is repatriated to your NRE accounts as well. We have launched some new lower brokerage plans for NRI customers, which I will also take you through going ahead. And we have a live help desk and a chat option for NRI customers, as well as toll-free numbers for customers in the US, right? So this is just a little bit of a background of ICICI Securities in the NRI business. Moving ahead, let me start with the type of accounts that NRI customers have, that they can have to invest in different places. So as resident customers, there is only one bank, one demat, and one trading account, which is enough for the customer to be able to invest in all sorts of product classes that are there, right? But for NRIs, some of you may know, some of you might not know that for NRIs there are up to 4 accounts that the customer can have with ICICI Securities. Depending upon the type of funds and where the customer wants to invest, we suggest the customers to open either some of the 4 accounts or all the 4 accounts, depending upon their investment requirement. So these are the 4 accounts listed in front of you. As you can see, there are 2 NRE accounts and 2 NRO accounts, right? So, and they are each linked to a pins and a non-pins trading account. So the pins account basically is the account that is used for secondary market transactions. So if you want to buy and sell stocks, then you need to have the pins account. You need to open the pins account, whether NRE or NRO, depending upon what type of funds you wish to use. What type of funds you wish to use in the secondary market, you can open that particular account. And the non-pins account is for primary market transactions. Generally, it is used for everything else besides equity, things like mutual funds, IPOs, ETFs. Now, I understand that for customers in the US and Canada, there is restrictions on mutual funds and IPOs, which will continue to be there. However, the non-pins account, is still required for a lot of purposes, which you may not realize right now. But eventually going forward you will require a non-pins account, especially when there are corporate actions on your shares and all those things. If you want to trade in futures and options also, then you require the non-pins account. So these are the four accounts that the customers can have: NRE pins and NRO pins, okay, for investing in secondary market with NRE funds or NRO funds. And then you have the NRE non-pins and the NRO non-pins for using NRE and NRO funds for doing selling shares in the that have been got that you have received due to a corporate action, and also for trading in futures and options and ETFs as well. And non-pins account will also be required if in case there is some resident who wants to gift you some shares, so those shares are also being transferred into the demat that is linked to the NRO non-pins account, right? Moving ahead, let's elaborate a little more on the things that I have mentioned with regards to the pins and non-pins, right? So pins is called as a portfolio investment scheme. Okay, it's a concept which is applicable for NRI customers only. A lot of resident customers might not be aware of this concept because pins is a facility that is provided by RBI to NRIs, through which the customers have to purchase or access the exchange in order to buy and sell stocks, right? Because whatever NRIs buy, whatever transactions NRIs do on the exchange, especially in case with NRE funds, all those transactions are actually reported to the RBI, and there is a limit as to how much NRIs can be invested, in particular stock. So in order to monitor that limit and ensure that the rules and regulations are being followed by the customers, the pins account is provided, and buying and selling of shares is only possible under the pins account, right? And shares that you receive as corporate actions also will be credited into the same linked account in which you are currently holding the shares. Okay, now for non-pins account comes into the picture when in cases where the shares were not purchased under a PIS or a pins approval. So let's say if earlier your status was resident Indian, and the portfolio that you had as a resident Indian, upon conversion of your account from resident to non-resident, your resident portfolio will reflect under the non-pins account, right? The NRO non-pins account. Why NRO non-pins? Because obviously when you were a resident Indian, you would have purchased this share with INR, with rupees. Okay, so that makes it, the type of funds is actually NRO, and there was no concept as a pins when you were a resident Indian. So RBI is not aware that or those transactions are rather not reported to the RBI. So even upon selling those shares, the transaction need not reported to the RBI. So it cannot be done through a pins account. It has to be done through a non-pins account. So that's where the non-pins account comes into the picture. As well as if you have received some shares through ESOPs, right? Many of you might be receiving ESOPs from your respective Indian companies that you are working in. So the shares are actually credited. Your shares are supposed to be credited into the non-pins account, because it is not being purchased from the exchange, right? The registrar is directly crediting these shares to you. So they have to be credited into the non-pins account in order to sell, right? And also, as I earlier mentioned, whatever shares, if any resident customer or any resident Indian rather wants to gift you some shares, right? Those shares also needs to be transferred into the non-pins account, as well as shares received as bonus. So some little details on what transactions are allowed under pins, what transactions are allowed under non-pins. If you still want me to elaborate on this piece, a little bit more for your understanding, please let me know in the comments so that I can help you with that as well. For US, if you can see the middle row column for US and Canada customers, except MF and IPOs, all other products are actually enabled for investments. The reason why MF and IPO is disabled is because of the regulations in US and Canada, controlled by the SEC and all those regulatory bodies, which is why we are actually not able to offer mutual fund and IPOs through an online platform, right? However, if you happen to be in India, then you can absolutely physically do investments in mutual funds and IPOs. Yeah. So I have a question. by Virendra. So you're asking me that you tried to place an SEP for mutual fund. But as I said, that mutual funds is not enabled for customers in US and Canada. So that will not be possible for you. I am assuming that you are from that geography. So which is why that issue comes in, that error comes in, that you're not allowed to place an order. Coming to TDS, I have a query from Mr. Gagandeep that is TDS applicable both in NRE and NRO? To answer your question, yes, it is applicable for in both NRE and NRO on capital gains, obviously. But there is a process in which the capital gains are actually the TDS is deducted on the capital gains. So it is an automated process. Uh, Automated process to settle your TDS transactions. So in the PINS account, it is automated, right? But in the non-PINS account, it is not automated, because PINS account, all transactions that are done under the PINS are done from the exchange. So, our TDS team is aware that all these transactions are done in the secondary market. So what they do is that whenever, if at all you make any profit, any capital gains on the stocks that you sell, the fund payout is given into your account in T+2 days, okay, after deducting the applicable tax, whether it is long term or short term, right? The tax rates are the same that are for NRI for resident customers. The rates are the same, which I will showcase to you going ahead. And a little USP that we have over here is that your losses are actually adjusted against your profits, and then the tax is deducted, right? So if you see the second point, it says that it auto carry forwards the short-term losses, and it is adjusted with the profits for the future within the same FI, right? So what it means is, let's say today in the month of February, I make a net loss of, let's say, 100 rupees. Yeah, I made a loss of 100 rupees by selling some stocks. And in the next month, total in the month of March, I make a profit, right? In the next transaction, I make a profit of, let's say, 200 rupees. Yeah, so my system will actually adjust that 100 rupees loss that you made in the previous month, and it will adjust with the profit of 200 rupees that you've made in the next consecutive trade. And so by offsetting that, your profit is actually, your real-time profit is 100 rupees and not 200. So TDS will be calculated and capital gain tax will be deducted on the 100 rupees, considering 100 rupees as the profit, right? So not instead of 200 on 100 rupees. So your tax outflow gets reduced because of that, right? And we directly give a payout to NRE accounts, with CA certification. So your 15 CACV process is accounted for whenever you are buying and selling from the NRE PINS account, right? So that is also taken care of. To give you a small, detail on the brokerage plans that we actually have for NRI customers, right? So the default brokerage, if you have not selected any brokerage plan, that is actually, it's on the higher side. It's 1.25% on the turnover, which we understand is high, but please understand the operational, expenses that are to be accounted for NRI transactions is also quite high, which is why that default brokerage structure, is 1.25. But however, we have launched certain prime plans, if you may call it, which is a subscription plan with which you can reduce your brokerage in cash as well as futures and options, and increase your daily EATM limit, right? I will speak about EATM also. Now, you can see 4 plans listed out here, right? Starting from 2,000 rupees all the way to 12,000 rupees. So only the first plan, the lowest plan, that is 1,999, that is an annual subscription plan, meaning you will have to keep giving 2,000 rupees annually in order to avail the benefits of the lower brokerage that you see of 0.5% in cash and so on, right? But any plan that you select from 3,999 and upwards, it is a one-time subscription. That means one time, that pay-in will be debited from your bank account, and that plan will actually, the brokerage rates will actually be applicable for lifetime. So, unlike the 2,000 rupee plan, which, you have to give an annual subscription fee, The other three plans, you have to subscribe just once, give the pay-in amount once, and for the rest of your life, you can enjoy those the brokerage rates that you see in front of you, right? So with the 12,000 rupee plan, from you can literally reduce your brokerage down to 20 paisa, from 1.25%. If you subscribe for 12,000 rupees once, you get that reduced brokerage. So this is similar to something like an Amazon's Prime subscription, wherein you give in a pay in every subscription amount and you get certain benefits. It's very similar to that. In addition to the lower brokerage rates, you also have something called as a EATM limit. Now, if I have not explained EATM limit to you, let me tell you that it is one of the best features that any broker is offering to customers in today's times. It is applicable for both resident and non-resident customers, which means that instead of if you select a sell order, EATM sell order, right? So which means that instead of waiting for T+2 days for your funds to come to be credited into your account, the funds are actually credited within 5 minutes instead of waiting for another 2 days to get the funds, right? So for customers who have not subscribed to any of these plans over here, there is a daily limit of 10 lakh rupees. Okay, so more than 10 lakh rupees you will not be able to get within 5 minutes if you have not subscribed to any of these plans. But if you subscribe to any of these plans, your daily EATM limit goes up to 50 lakhs all the way till 1 crore, right? So you can literally get 1 crore rupees every day into your account if you sell your shares within 5 minutes. There is no other broker in the market that is actually offering the same day payout facility. So it's a very helpful feature for our customers, and they really appreciate this feature. And you can really avail a lot of benefits if you can subscribe to this plan. And this was about the brokerage. Moving ahead, just to give you small, breakup of what the tax rates are. So as you can see, that the base tax rate is the same as per the resident Indian customers. It is 10% and 15%. You add the surcharge and education cess to it, and then you have your final TDS rate that will be applicable, that is in front of you. uh, that was it on the product side of things that I wanted to explain. We also have a live chat, and we have a toll-free number. Accidentally, it is mentioned for UAE customers. I will share the USA toll-free number with you as well, and yes, I will share this PPT with all of you as well. Right. So this was on the little bit on the product side. I know there are a lot of queries coming in. I will answer your queries one by one as when we go. But I would also like to, take you through, the trading platform that we have, and give you a small demo on, how to operate your account. So yeah. So meanwhile, as I get the OTP, let me look at some of the questions that have been posted over here. So, I've answered the first two questions, that TDS is applicable both in, NRE and NRO accounts. Yes, because it is TDS on capital gains, right? TDS, tax is not deducted on source in case of NRE income, but on capital gains, yes, TDS is applicable in that case. Yeah. Will the presentation be shared? Yes, the presentation will be shared. Mr. Path Patel, how can I buy a mutual fund while in Canada, sir? Unfortunately, for you, as I mentioned, customers in USA and Canada are not permitted to invest in mutual funds and IPOs through an online channel, right? So, but if you happen to be in India, then you can invest and place your, and you can invest in mutual funds, but it will obviously have to be done through a physical mode. Unfortunately, it is not enabled due to restrictions by the regulators in your country itself, which is why we are actually not able to offer. So Mr. Gagandeep is also asking, bonus stocks from holding pins account will be delivered in non-pins? No. So let me elaborate on that. So if, let's say, if you have ICICI Bank stocks in your pins account today, right, and if the bonus share is to be, if ICICI Bank tomorrow declares sorry, a bonus, say in the ratio of 2:1, right, then what happens is that just a second. Yeah. So what happens is that the registrar will look at the demat account in which you hold the shares currently, right? And they will blindly credit those shares in the demat account which holds ICICI Bank shares. So if you are holding shares, ICICI Bank shares in the PINS account, registrar will credit the bonus shares in that very same PINS account, right? But let's say if you would have purchased ICICI Bank shares when you were a resident Indian, right? And then you got converted into a non-resident Indian, then your existing portfolio of ICICI Bank will actually reflect in the non-PINS account. And after you've been converted into an NRI, the shares are in the non-PINS account, and then ICICI Bank declares a bonus. And then if your shares are in the non-PINS, the registrar will look at which demat account the shares are held in, and they will credit the shares in that particular account, right? But if you have bonus shares in your PINS account, you actually have to transfer them to your non-PINS account. How you will transfer them to your non-PINS account? You will go to your portfolio over here. Sorry. Yeah, you go to demat holdings, right? So, okay, since there are no shares in this particular account, there is no transfer to non-PINS options, right? So if you go to demat holdings, there will be a option over here to transfer to non-PINS. Then you can transfer those shares to non-PINS in that case, right? So I will answer those questions, as and when I come along. But in the meanwhile, let me, take you through this platform and give you a small demo on, how to operate the account. So when you log in, this is the screen that you will see over here. Okay. Now, as I said, NRIs can have up to 4 accounts. Okay. So you can switch between the different accounts that you have. All you have to do is you see your account, your name will be mentioned over here, and there is a small arrow button. All you have to do, down arrow, you have to click on the down arrow. You get a select account option here, right? And then you can
Hi, your screen is
select
not
the
visible.
account.
Your screen are not visible.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. Yeah, I hope it's visible now. Rishi, can you confirm if the screen is visible? I think it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So when you log in, right? So this is the screen that you will be seeing in front of you. This is the home page of your login, right? And you see your name over here, right? There's a down arrow button. If you click on here, you will get a select account option. You can click here and you can see all the 4 accounts that you hold, right? NP NRO means it's a non-pins NRO, and NRO over here will be a pins NRO. Same NRE here is a pins NRE, and NP NRE is your non-pins NRE, right? So if I want to say invest in stocks, using my NRE fund, so this is the account that I need to select, right? I select and I click on select. Next thing that I want to do is I want to allocate the funds from my linked bank account into the trading account before I place any orders. So I go to allocate funds. I see my linked bank balance over here. This is the linked bank account number. And wherever I wish to invest, please note currency and commodity is not enabled for NRIs, and even mutual fund is not enabled for NRIs in USA and Canada. So for equity markets, secondary market equity and ETFs, you can click on add, mention your amount that you wish to allocate, and press submit, right? So your funds actually moved from your savings account into your trading account. So I have a trading account allocation of 4260. I can also decide to move it back into my bank account with one click. So even if your funds are allocated into the trading account, right? So you will not be losing interest for the funds allocated in the trading account. You will get the interest for the funds even if they are allocated into trading. And once you have allocated your funds, okay, you can simply, in order to place an order, you can go to stocks here, right? You can go to place order page, okay, and then let me show you of how to place an order in your account. So let's say I want to buy, okay, and I want to buy, let's say, ICICI Securities stock, right? So in that case, my bids will show up over here, and I can select my exchange. Okay. Now there are two types of orders that you can essentially place. One is a market order. The other is a limit order, right? Market order is simple. If the market is on right now, I can simply, if I select a market order, it will get executed at this rate that you see over here, right? That is 466.45. It will get executed at this. So if I proceed to buy, uh, sorry, oh, quantity field is empty. Okay, one stock I want to buy of ICICI Securities. I buy. Okay, here I can confirm the order details, and then I can proceed to place the order, right? So once I do that, the order that has been sent to the exchange will be reflected in the order book over here, right? So if you go to order book, if I would have gone ahead and executed that transaction, it would have reflected over here in my order book, and there would be a status that would say pending, right? Or rather it would say ordered, and once the order would have gotten executed, it would reflect under my trade book. Here, once the order has been executed at the exchange, the status will be reflected over here, right? So that was on a simple buy order that was there. Now let's say if I want to buy ICICI Securities stock, you know at a price, I feel that this, I want to buy it at a lower price, right? So what I can do is I can select a limit order here, okay, and I can mention the lower price that I wish to buy. Let's say I wish to buy it at 460 rupees. Okay, now here you have an option to select a day order, IOC, that is immediate or cancel, and a VTC order, which is valid till cancel, right? So with VTC, if I select VTC, means this order will be valid in the system for the next 45 days, up to 45 days, till whenever you want to keep it. That's the advantage of the VTC order, especially for NRI customers, because they don't have time to track the market daily, right? And because of the time difference as well. Or you can select a day order, it'll get, if it doesn't get, if 460 rupees does not reach during the day, this order will automatically be cancelled, right? But with VTC, this order for a buy at 460 rupees will be valid till 26th of March, that is the next 45 days, right? Then I can proceed and buy. So I proceed, I can verify all my details, and I can proceed to place the order in the exchange, right? Now, uh, let's look at how to place a SLTP order, right? So SLTP stands for stop loss trigger price. Okay, SLTP can be used for both buy as well as sell orders over here, right? So now let's say that right now the market is closed. Okay, it'll open up on Monday next. Okay, and the last traded price for ICICI securities on NSE was 466.45. Okay, I have a gut feeling that when the market opens tomorrow, or I mean when the market opens on Monday, that the price will increase. Is That's what my gut feeling is. Okay, but I still want to buy the stock. Even if the price goes up, I still want to buy the stock. Okay, so what I do is I place a stop loss trigger price. Okay, which means that the stop loss trigger price always has to be greater than the bid price. Okay, so I can keep it as a bid price also, or slightly above it. So let's say if I keep it at 467, right? So a little like 55 paisa more than what the current bid price is. Okay, which means that if the order if the market opens on Monday, okay, and the ICICI security stock opens at 467, okay, or beyond that, my order will be triggered to the exchange. Okay, and let's say if it opens beyond 467, okay, then obviously this price will get skipped, right? But I want to place an upper ceiling key. I am okay with the price going up to that much for it to be executed. So let's say I put 470 here. Okay, so what it means is that if the market opens at 467, or if it goes beyond that, and if there is any buyer in the market between 467 and 470, my order will be executed at that price. I hope I was clear, right? So I'll explain again. If I feel that on Monday this price is going to go up when the market opens, I want the order to be sent to the exchange if it touches 467 or goes beyond 467, but not beyond 470 rupees. I am not willing to pay more than 470 rupees for this share in order to buy it, right? So that is the use of a limit order in case of a buy transaction. Now, in case of sell transaction, this will have to be kept lower. Basically, I'm willing to. I feel, let's say I want to sell ICICI security stock that I have, right? So I can either choose to sell it at the price at which it is being traded by selecting the market order and place an immediate sell order, or I feel that the price is going to go down. Okay, Monday when the market opens, I think this is going to drop. Okay, and I want to save my losses. So what I do is, how much am I willing for it to drop? I am okay if it goes till 465. Okay, if if ICICI securities opens at 465, I want the order to be sent to the exchange, but I don't want it to be sold beyond, say, 460. If it drops beyond 460 is the maximum loss that I'm willing to take, right? So order will be sent at 465, and if there is any buyer in the market, who has placed a request to buy between 465 and 460, my order will get executed. Okay, if by chance it so happens that the market, that this price opens beyond 460, means it has, let's say if it opens at 459, my order will automatically be cancelled, because I am not willing to sell it for less than 460 rupees, right? So that is the use of your limit orders over here, right? So the other things what you can do is, you can check your demat holdings here, right? Whatever stocks that you hold, we have a whole research section, with various, you can select various stocks that our research has put out over here that you can choose to invest from. Also, how to select a brokerage plan, right? I spoke about Prime. So you see a settings option over here next to logout. If I click on this, I go to my brokerage plan over here, right? If I select on this, I can select the Prime plan, whichever plan that I wish to select. I can tick on this. I can select the account. Okay, please ensure that you are selecting the account. Okay, you see the bank accounts mentioned over here, starting with 00, right? The second part of this sequence, right? This is your bank account number. Please ensure that you have sufficient balance in these particular accounts. Whichever account you select, let's say if I select this account and I want 1999 to be activated, please ensure that at least 1999 plus 18% GST free balance is there in your account, so that this brokerage plan will successfully get activated, right? You can submit here, you can check out some terms and you can read the terms and conditions and you can submit, right? And then you can subscribe to your brokerage plan. Uh, Besides that, there are uh, you can manage your subscriptions over here. If at all there are some communications that you wish to receive for different categories, you can receive some mailers in this case over here, right? And besides this, I think this is the part that I wanted to explain on the platform, basically on how to place an order in equities, because for client customers in US and Canada, mutual fund and IPO is restricted. So I genuinely cannot give a demo of that. So is currency and commodity is also restricted, right? So now, this is what I wanted to speak about. Let me start answering more of your questions. I can see a lot of questions have been mentioned out here. So I last answered. Yeah, Mr. Ashok is asking, is it possible for non-resident to have separate accounts, one under a single name and another in a joint name? Yes, you can, as long as you are a joint holder in the other account. Yes, you can have two accounts, but the first holder has to be someone else. If you are first holder in one account and then in the other account, you can only be a joint holder, right? You cannot have two accounts wherein you are the first holder. That is not permitted, right? My account handle public interest is asking that does one need to take any action, or if the bonus shares are delivered to the non-pins automatically? No, then you do not need to do anything. You simply can sell the bonus shares, which have been credited directly into your non-pins account. And because, as I said, the registrar is directly crediting these shares, so this transaction is not supposed to be done under a pins category, because there is no reporting of to RBI that has been done. So these transactions are done through the non-pins account. Tax calculation is based on calendar year or Indian financial year. Samir, it is on the Indian financial year. So April to March, 1st April to 31st March is the financial year in which the tax is calculated. Can we upgrade within Prime plans, Mr. Virendra? Yes, certainly you can upgrade, between the Prime plans. All you have to do is you will have to pay a differential fee, right? Right. Let's say right now, if you're in the 8,000 rupee plan and you want to upgrade to a 12,000 rupee plan, you will have to pay the differential amount of 4,000, and you can upgrade whenever you wish to or feel comfortable. It's possible. Yes, yes, RK, a year you can switch within the same financial year. It's no issues. Mr. Salman, to answer your question, is it required to subscribe to brokerage if you just make one-time sale of shares held in ICICI? That's totally upon you, sir. So if, let's say, if whatever transactions you're making, the sell transactions, if it's a big amount, right? If the turnover is huge, then obviously, if you've not selected any brokerage plan, we will levy 1.25% brokerage on the turnover. But if you have subscribed to the Prime plan, and keeping in mind Any Prime plan worth which is more than 2000 rupees that you subscribe to is valid for lifetime. So it's a one-time subscription fee. You can write that off, with the benefit that you get in terms of savings and brokerage compared to 1.25% with the prime rate that is there, right? So that's totally on you. Mr. Salman, unfortunately, we don't have a toll-free number for Canada yet, but we will get one. For US customers, there is a toll-free number. I will share that with you as well. Public interest, if you can walk us through how to find the relevant documents on ICICI's site in order to file taxes in India. So, what I can tell you is that when it comes to tax filing, right, ICICI Securities doesn't usually come into the picture. But if there are certain documents that you require for calculating your capital gain taxes, if at all it is required, then yes, those I can guide you. You can go to the demat holdings, right? There is a section over here, know more about TDS for NRI. So if I click on here, it will redirect me to our NRI services page, which has all the tax related details over here. The tax, that is calculated, and how is LTCG calculated, uh, all sorts of Q&As, FAQs you will be able to find. I suggest if you go through this page, it will answer a lot of your questions out here. Yes, Mr. Virendra, all the prime brokerage is applicable in all four accounts. You don't have to separately subscribe for each account. One time pay in from any from whichever account the money is debited, it will be applicable for all the four accounts, the brokerage rates. Mr. Gagandeep, as I said, that TDS is applicable on capital gains. Okay, TDS is not applicable for NRE income, right? NRE income is exempt from tax. But if you are using your NRE income to invest in India and make profits and capital gains, that is taxable, whether it's NRE or NRO, doesn't matter. If you're making profits by investing in stocks in India, the government will tax you, irrespective it is NRE income or NRO income. So, futures and options, what I would suggest is that we will have a separate session entirely on the, futures and options, because, I would suggest if, an expert on futures and options can be on the call as well. We will organize a separate session, and I would really urge you to, join that session for, derivative trading, right? So, Mr. LA, if someone has Demat account as an Indian citizen, can the same account be changed to NRI Demat if the person becomes a citizen of another country? Do we need to sell the stocks? Please do not sell your stocks. It is very much possible to simply convert the status of your Demat account. Okay, you don't need to sell any stocks. If anyone advises you that you're supposed to sell stocks, they are giving you a wrong advice. You can simply convert your account status into a non-pins account. As I mentioned earlier, in this webinar, that if you have a portfolio that you purchased as a resident Indian, if you get converted to a non-resident, your portfolio will reflect in the NRO non-pins demat. So you don't have to sell any stocks. So in order to buy an ETF, you will actually have to select the non-pins account, right? And then you will have to place an order in the ETF, just as the same way I showed you on how to place an order in stocks. It's the same process. How do I transfer my equity holdings from another bank or brokerage? So, Mr. Nitin, NRI customers, as you may or may not know, can only have one broker at any point in time, right? I mean, what I mean is that you can do transactions in secondary market only through one broking platform as an NRI, okay, because of the PIS or the PINS concept, right? So NRIs essentially, as I mentioned earlier, there is a limit as to how much NRIs can be invested in Indian markets, right? And that limit is actually tracked by the RBI, right? Which is why the reporting is done in the first place. So if you want to migrate your portfolio, then you will first have to, uh, close your trading account, with the other broker that you have. You have to cancel your PINS approval. Okay. Then you have to get an NOC. You have to come to the broker wherein you wish to open the account. You have to set up an account. Then you have to initiate your transfer from your previous DMAT into the new DMAT, and then eventually close that old DMAT account that you have. So first you basically close the trading account, cancel the PINS approval in your previous broker, open a new account with the new broker with the PINS approval, and then you transfer your DMAT holdings and then close the previous account. That is the process. There is no list as such available to buy in ETFs. You will simply have to search it with the stock code, right? You will have to search the stock code of the ETF and you will be able to get it there. So in basket orders, what I'll tell you is that uh, for NRI customers, right, margin is not enabled. So if you probably would have been trying to make an investment in a uh, uh, you know uh, uh, margin portfolio, then that is not be possible. But we can place orders otherwise. So as you can see, I am on basket orders, one click portfolio. I have selected. I can do a SIP or a one-time investment, or as in how I wish. And I can click here and I can proceed. This is how you can place a basket order. You have to ensure that you have selected the right account whenever you are placing the order. You might have selected the incorrect or the PINS account for a basket of stocks which are purely equity, right? You see all these stocks here are pure equity. If I would have, say, by accidentally, if I would have selected a non-PINS account and I would have gone to basket orders, one click, and try to invest, then it would say that to invest in portfolios comprising of equity stocks, please select your PINS account. So the right account needs to be selected. Any other questions from everyone who is connected? Okay. I think I'll wait for another 5 minutes, if at all there are more questions that come in. But I understand since it's a Friday morning for all of you, I'm sure you will all have work commitments. But we can wait for another 5 minutes for more questions. Uh, Mr. RK Iyer, Trade Racer app demo. I think so. Trade Racer app is quite deeply and technically related to trading. As I said, that we will arrange a separate webinar on FNO, right? And we will have the right experts on there, and then we will be able to give you a demo on that as well. Mr. Abha Mittal, what is W tax deducted quarterly? Unfortunately, I'm not too sure exactly what that is, but let me do a little bit of research on that, and maybe I can get back to you. Gagandeep, you mentioned that you already had NRE, NRO bank account, but when you open an iDirect account, you now have four accounts, right? Uh, great thing to post out here. Let me tell you why. So your existing NRE NRO bank accounts, right? They can only be linked to a non-pins trading account. Okay, so if you want to transact in equity, if you want to have a pins account, it is mandatory to open a fresh bank account. So your old existing NRE NRO bank account would be linked to a non-pins trading account through which you can do primary market transactions. But there would have been new bank accounts set up with the pins approval, from which you can do secondary market transactions. We have to open new bank accounts for pins approval. We cannot link a pins approval to existing bank accounts, which is why that two new bank accounts would have got removed. Manu Srivastav is saying you get errors when you change from pins to non-pins. Why don't you highlight this to us on customer service? Let me check it on a case-to-case basis. I will have to check what is the reason why you get this error. So please write to us, and we can go through it. And yes, we will share the presentation, and we will share the contact details as well. So if you have specific queries, which you feel are a little complicated to ask over here, then I will share those details as well, and uh, we can resolve your queries as and when they come. Abha, I think I suggest you check once with your bank relationship manager. As public interest is mentioning, it's withholding tax. I'm not too sure if it's related to an iDirect transaction. Could be some other thing also. Maybe if you can check with bank. Meanwhile, I will check as well. If there is anything like withholding tax that we deduct. Mr. Deepa Krishnan, it says your default brokerage scheme NRI high means it is 1.25%. I would suggest if you can subscribe to any one of the prime plans, if you're an active investor, then your brokerage rate will go down from 1.25% to the prime plan, that the prime rate that you will subscribe. Abha, can I transfer from pins to non-pins and vice versa? If yes, how? There are only certain conditions wherein you can transfer from pins to non-pins. Not all your portfolio can you move from pins to non-pins. I'm guessing the reason why you are asking this question is because you would prefer that your entire portfolio was consolidated in one demat. I understand your concern, but regulatory wise and logically, and for ease of your own investments and transactions, it is not possible to completely merge your portfolio pins and non-pins, because pins transactions are reported to RBI, non-pins transactions are not reported to RBI. We cannot mix the two. So only, as I mentioned, only shares that you would have received as a corporate action, like bonus and split and all those things, because they are directly credited by the registrar, which is not reported to the RBI. Those shares you have to transfer from pins to non-pins in order to sell. Details of that more you can find on our website. Abha, then why don't you write to us, at nri@icicidirect.com. Let me show you, the website that we have. Yeah. So when you visit our website, right, ICICIdirect.com, besides the login page, there is a whole dedicated page to NRIs. If you see over here, right, this is the login section. There is an NRI page over here. Click on here. You will be able to find all details related to NRIs right out here, right? You can get taxation related details. You can get details on our brokerage structure. These are all clickable links. You can click and get redirected to another page out here, right? And you can get, if at all you had converted your account from resident to non-resident, there is a whole dedicated page for this as well. You can get all your queries answered out here. What are the type of bank accounts that you have, what is PIS, what is non-PIS. You can go through all these details. And yeah, there are some FAQs listed out here as well, right? And we have our email, that is nri@iccidirect.com. Yeah. And this is the customer care number. This number is not toll free, it is chargeable. However, for customers in USA and certain other countries that you see over here, we have a toll free number over here. Unfortunately, for Canada, as of now, we do not have a toll free number, but for USA, we do. For any queries, you should write to us at nri@iccidirect.com. And my team who is conducting this webinar will share this PPT with you as well as, an email address to answer your specific queries. Gagandeep, do we need to file income tax if we already deduct capital gains? Yes. I mean, income tax has to be filed. Even if we have deducted capital gains, you can file your income tax returns, and there is a TDS certificate which gets uploaded, into your account, right? So let me show you where it is. So with the help of that, actually, you can uh, 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 while filing your IT returns, you can submit that TDS certificate, which will give you a picture of how much TDS has been deducted already, right? So if I go to portfolio here, right, and I go to equity out here, there is a TDS computation statement all the way from 2012, and I will be able to see all my TDS statements if at all there are any. Public interest, yes, I am aware that there is a toll-free number for ICICI Bank for Canada, because one of the reasons being that is because ICICI Bank has physical presence as well in Canada, right? They have branches as well. ICICI Direct and ICICI Bank are two different entities, even though they are under the same group companies, but they're different companies. So, and as of now, unfortunately, we don't have a toll-free number for Canada, but there is a help desk number which you can call. And to be honest, if you have any queries related to the iDirect account, you can also approach your relationship managers in ICICI Bank in Canada. We work very closely with the ICICI Bank Canada team in order to push our product and and also to assist with queries. So you can reach out to them as well. Okay, I think it was lovely. You can check with them, public interest. You can check with them. They should be able to. If even if they are not able to answer, they will help. They will help you connect to the right people who will be able to answer. Okay. I mean, I think if there are no more questions, I think we can close this session. It was really great interacting with everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time out on a Friday morning to be able to connect on this webinar. And we will see you soon. We will keep in touch. We will keep having more of these sessions. The PPT will also reach you, as well as some contact details in order to resolve your queries. Right. So thank you very much, and have a great day ahead, and enjoy your weekend ahead. Thank you so much for joining.